Hello and welcome to my review of the Mark.VI Legion Command Squad for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy from Games Workshop. Now, one of these box sets will cost you £31.50 and comprises of 168 plastic components and is supplied with 5 32mm round bases. If this review looks familiar, that's because very recently I reviewed the Mark.III Command Squad. Now, the only difference in these two sets, other than obviously the number of parts, is that you're either getting 5 Mark.III Space Marines or 5 Mark.VI Space Marines. So depending on your Legion, it might be worth picking up one or the other. The command sprue itself is exactly the same in both of the kits. Now, as I mentioned in that review, you can pick up the Command Squad sprue itself for £18.50, which is, you know, a little bit of a discount compared to the £31.50 for the full kit, but you're not going to get a discount with that. You're going to have to fork up that £18.50, whereas at least with the Command Squad sets, you could potentially get a 20% discount and get them for about £25 by using my Element Games affiliate link down in the description below. Don't forget to use that crystal code and then earn yourself double the number of crystals. So the format of this review is as normal. I'll have a look at each one of these Mark.VI Command Squad Legionaries up close. Then I'll go through all of those spare parts, of which there are a good number. Then I will go through some size comparisons with a load of other Mark Space Marines. And finally, at the end, I'll go through their rules. Their rules are exactly the same as in the Mark.III review. So if you skip that part of the review, I won't report you to the Inquisition. Let's have a look at these Space Marines up close then, first of all. So let's start off with the standard that I chose for the Mark.VI right here. It's a little bit different to the one that I picked for the Mark.III. This is a bit of a preemptive size comparison, but there's the Mark.III. Can you see him? He's there somewhere. He's behind that massive banner. Yeah, very nice big plastic banner. If you want to go for this standard, you can do, but you know, if your freehand isn't good, because that banner is just aching for some freehand painting on there. Maybe you want to put some transfers on it, I don't know, but that's the difference really. They both have the helmetless helm that they're holding, or the gladius power sword, but that's I just wanted to showcase the standards. And it's important to note that, you know, these are, I think, loyalist standards, but there are slightly different icons if you wanted to have them as traitor standards. But yeah, this is the one that I've gone for, with his helmet off, which is rare for one of Super Saiyan's Space Marines to have a helmet off, but that's that one. Then I've got this one, and I have used the Gladius. I don't really use the Gladius on the Mark.IIIs, but this time I have. Interesting to know that the Gladius has a bionic sort of forearm. I'm not sure whether that's a good advertisement that he's lost his sword arm before. He might have lost it charging a plasma pistol, who knows, but he lost it. Yeah, you've got your normal Mark.VI power armor. Nothing's changed except for you get 4 different left shoulder pauldrons. You get these storm shields, and you got this Gladius, and you get, you know, full size power swords as well, and the helmet with the plume on. Got this one. Now this is a power sword. This is the difference between them really. You've got the Gladius there and then the power sword. I'm thinking maybe I should have equipped him with a power sword instead. They work the same in game, but this is quite a cool pose, sort of walking forward. As you can see, that's just a standard Mark.VI pauldron. You've got this one again, sort of stepping forward. As I said in the Mark.III review, you know, you can swap all of the arms around, the wrists around. They really cater for sort of customizing and posing, which is great. And then you've got this one as well. I'm not sure whether it works, whether these helmets work with the Mark.VI. Neither do I think that the power swords do either, or the shields actually. So Taking a step back, call me greedy, but I probably would have preferred a Mark.VI specific command squad rather than just, you know, the command squad sprue that's shared between both of the marks of armour. So let's have a look at the spare parts. Like the Mark.IIIs, we've got a sprue here full of Mark.VI spare parts. Look at all those chickens, shoulder pauldrons. You've got loads there that are just aching to be glued together. You've got the chainsword bayonets, you've got a load of Mark.VI heads, if that's your thing, and then you've got some spare arms. Likewise, the accessory sprue, didn't use hardly anything, maybe used a grenade or two. You've got a plume there, you've got the actual bayonets, you've got a power sword, power fist, you've got the Nuncio Vox, Vexilla, things like that. So I didn't really use any of those. And then we've got the spare parts from this kit. So we've got the big banner that I didn't use, you've got the sort of traitor icons that would go on the top of the banner. We've got a spare combat shield, spare full-size power sword, 3 plumed heads, I think that is in total, that I didn't use because I wanted to have him holding a helmet. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but it just looks a bit odd if he's holding a helmet and he's wearing a helmet. I'm sure I've seen it on a Space Marine before though, on Google. But yeah, they're the spare parts for this specific kit. Quite a lot, as you can tell. And you know, it might be worth you just picking up the command squad sprue, save yourself a little bit of money, like £7, I suppose, if you've got some, you know, spare Space Marines lying around that you don't want to commit to full sort of tactical squads. So size comparisons, of course, if you've got any experience with Mark.VI Space Marines, you'll know that these are exactly the same size. If we just look at those two, these command squad ones, they're the same kit as the Mark.VI. Maybe they look a bit bigger because of their plumes. Same goes for the Mark.III, same size. I'm not sure whether they would work well together. I mean, at least they're the same size. And again, likewise, I'm not sure whether these work particularly well with just the standard Mark.VIs. I don't think they work as well as the Mark.III command squad and the normal Mark.III Space Marines, I don't think. And just for fun, we've got a Mark.IV right here, which is just up to the chest. And then we've got the old Mark.III. Again, looks a bit odd, but you know, their helmets kind of, you can see some similarity, but everything else, like the full armor pattern and things, just doesn't suit it, I don't think. Then, why not? I've got a Contemptor Dreadnought and also a Raven Guard Rhino, which you probably would be putting the command squad in. And finally, little comparison with some 40k miniatures. So we have a standard Space Marine, got Sly Marbo and Primaris. So that's where they stand. They are taller. That's Sly Marbo. And then a Primaris is a bit taller. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for the Mark.VI command squad. It's worth noting that they have exactly the same rules as the Mark.III command squad. No changes whatsoever. It's just their look based on their power armor that they're wearing. So being a command squad, of course, they're an HQ choice, and they will cost you 85 points. Interesting thing is that for the 85 points, the unit composition is 3 for the command squad. So you get 2 Legion Chosen and 1 Legion Standard Bearer. And it may include up to 6 additional Legion Chosen for 18 points per model. So that means that it will cost you 121 points for the 5 of them if you wanted to run 5. But you don't have to. You can run 3 and then you can run your other HQ choice like a Praetor or something. So what are you getting for these, you know, 121 points? Well, you're getting a movement speed of 7 inches, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 2+. The standard bearer is movement of 7 inches, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 8, and a save of 2+. So exactly the same stat line for both. That means that for an extra sort of 8 points each, you're getting a better weapon skill, more wounds, more attacks, and a better leadership and a better save because of they're in their artificer armor. Their war gear: bolter, which is the Legion chosen only, Legion standard, bolt pistol, Legion standard bearer only, bolt pistol, chainsword, artificer armor, frag grenades, and crack grenades. Special rules: Legiones Astartes, chosen warriors, relentless, retinue. Dedicated transport: a Legion command squad may take a Legion Rhino transport or Legion Land Raider Proteus carrier as a dedicated transport. If the unit is composed of no more than 5 models, it may instead select a Legion Damocles Command Rhino as a dedicated transport. As a dedicated transport, this does not use up an additional force organisation slot, but its points cost must still be paid for as part of the army. Options: as I've mentioned earlier, you can take up to 6 additional Legion chosen for 18 points per model. Any model with a bolter may take a bayonet for 1 point each, or a chain bayonet for 2 points each. Any model may exchange its bolter for one of the following: combi bolter for 5 points, Volkite charger for 2 points, Magna combi weapon for 10 points, minor combi weapon for 5. Any model may exchange its chainsword and or bolt pistol for one of the following: a charnable weapon for 5 points, power weapon for 5, power fist for 15, lightning claw for 5, plasma pistol for 10, board and shield for 5 points. Any Legion chosen may exchange both his bolt pistol and chainsword for 2 lightning claws at 10 points each, and any model in the unit may select a Nuncio Vox for 5 points or a combat shield for 2 points. If the model for which the command squad has been selected as part of the retinue special rule has a Legion Warhawk jump pack, Legion Spatha combat bike, or Legion Scimitar jet bike, then the command squad must select the same upgrade, paying the cost listed below. So for the Warhawk jump pack, it's 10 points each, Spatha combat bike, it's 10 points, and the Scimitar jet bike, it's 30 points each. So it does get quite costly if you want a command squad with Scimitar jet bikes. Like, to have all 5 of them on jet bikes, like, White Scars probably would, that's going to cost you an extra 150 points, isn't it? It does get quite expensive. And that's it for the rules. As I mentioned, same rules as you would get for the Mark.III. So really it's up to you which works best aesthetically and which fits in with your army. The tricky one is that we had the main game box set with the Mark.VIs, so I think the majority of people will probably have Mark.VIs over the older Space Marines. However, I don't feel this command squad upgrade sprue works as well with the Mark.VI. For me, I feel it was designed more for the Mark.IIIs, which brings me to the conclusion that maybe it would have been better to have a Legion specific command squad sprue. And if they're going to do that, it would have also been nice to have, Mark.VI specific artificer armor and Mark.III specific artificer armor. And if they were going to do that, then maybe they could have redesigned the whole sprue for you to be able to, I don't know, build your own Praetor. 2 years on and they still haven't released a new kind of build your own Praetor in plastic where, much like the captains and things of old, for 40k you could do that. The saving grace of this kit is it gives you options. It gives you the option of buying the command squad sprue separately, although I do think £18.50 is a little steep, or just buying the dedicated Space Marines. But I have a feeling that a lot of people will have Space Marines laying around, and the great thing about this kit at least is that you are able to integrate it into some of your existing models. What do you guys think of the Mark.VI command squad? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. It'd be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.